Alright, it's Matt Mrozek again for I think video number 6. So this is the second Vamperilla kit that I got from Gordon, and this is also sculpted by Tony Cipriano. I haven't looked at this yet, so let's take a look. My first time opening this box. So this is one of those things where I saw it when I bought the first one, like, oh, I really want that one too, but I want to make sure I go look around and see what else there is before I get it. And it's like if I go back on Sunday and he still has some, then I'll grab one. So I went back on Sunday, my last run through the dealer room, and he had one, so I grabbed her. So packing, the other Vamperilla is packed very similar to this, really nicely done, bubble wrap, peanuts and stuff like that. I wanted to get her out of it. I wanted to look at her right away when I got back to my room. Okay, so let's take a look at her. So this is a traditional sculpt. I can tell right away it's a traditional sculpt. So there may be a little more cleanup involved on her. And she was $175. Again, quarter scale, nice big piece. Base. I'm assuming this is a traditional sculpt. It looks like a traditional sculpt. So I guess Tony does both traditional and. I think this is. I'm pretty sure this is sculpted by Tony Cipriano. I looked it up in some other groups, and everyone says it's Cipriano, so I'm assuming it's him. So if I'm not, I apologize, and someone can correct me. Okay, so let's take a look. Oh, it is sculpted by Tony Cipriano. This guy's name. It says After Frazetta. So, yeah, cool. So he does traditional and digital sculpting. I love it. Really cool that he does both. Okay, so again, we have our typical, I hate to say typical, but it's a theme. Rock base, kind of, maybe a graveyard. There's no tombstone, I don't think. I think it's just her standing on the base, if I remember correctly. And we have a plaque here. Vamperilla plaque. Vamperilla, and it goes in right. Oh, it actually fits extremely well. It plugs right in. Boom. Really nice. Let's see if I can darken my exposure a little bit. Okay, so there's the base. Pretty simple. Let's open up some of these pieces and take a look at her. Alright, so we have a skull. If I remember correctly, this is in her hand. Done very nicely, love it. Lots of detail. Even got the separate little plates. Nicely done. Casting on this is excellent. So far. Alright, here's the back of her hair, very similar to the last one we reviewed. It looks like it's going to be a two-parter. Little pore spout there we got to clean up before we can probably put anything on her. Here's her head. Okay, so the bangs are sculpted onto the head. Let's look at her face sculpt. It's really, really pretty. Nicely done. Beautiful. Great sculpt. A little more cleaned up than the previous one, simply because it's a traditional sculpt, so you gotta, you got more stuff you gotta deal with. But I think once you clean up that pore spout and everything, it'll plug in there nicely. Yeah, really dig that. Alright, so here is one of her hands. Here's the other hand. Yeah, she's holding that skull in this hand. Oh, she's got two hands. Is it a switch out? So she has a switch out. That's really interesting. You can switch out, or I guess do it permanent. I like her holding the skull personally. I think that's really cool. Okay, that, and then the leg. So not many pieces. Don't know if I'll be able to get her to stand up. So let's look at the casting and stuff on this. So let me bring my camera down. Maybe this can see better. Alright, so here's her left leg. Love the sculpt. Just, again, really super sexy. I love her hips. Really nice. great sculpt. Typical mold lines we got to fix, nothing major there. You know, sanding. Lots of sanding in model building, guys. Even though I complain about it sometimes and I point things out on kits, and I know it's there. When I do reviews, I just try to point out things that I notice that if you look, or if you have this piece, or if you're looking to get a piece, just so you can kind of know what to expect as far as like cleanup stuff goes. So even though I point out mold lines, I may point out bubbles, I'm not pointing out negatives because all kits have that stuff. Unless like you do like an ownage kit where they go and do all the cleanup for you. You know, this is a hand sculpted piece. This is, you know, casted by someone in their basement or their garage, and the quality is very good. So when I point that stuff out, it's not a knock against the piece. I know I get a lot of slack by people like, oh, you point out every little thing. It's like, it's not a negative. I'm just pointing out what's there. You know, as a model builder, there you have that stuff to deal with. So, you know, when I'm doing a review, I'm just trying to give my honest opinion. Whether you agree with it or not, it doesn't make it right by any means. That's one thing I always tell people: is an opinion is not a fact. It's simply my opinion, and take it for what you want. You know, tell me to fuck off. I don't care. You're not going to hurt my feelings. But this piece is excellent. I think it's a really beautifully sculpted piece. I think the quality is very good, especially for the price. It's a very large piece. Again, quarter scale. And just super sexy. I love it. Man, I'm a fan. He had a couple other pieces out there, but they weren't, I guess they were out of production, or he's not making them anymore. So I won't be able to plug anything in because there's no cleanup, but this hand goes here and it's just resting against her thigh, like that. And then you have her right hand here, which you can put this in, and where she's holding the skull, which I think that's awesome. That's what I'm going to do. There's actually little spots under the skull for her fingers to sit in. They can actually sculpt it in there. Didn't look at the hands too closely, so let's look at the hands real quick. Again, the sculpt's great. You know, just have our typical mold line cleanup we got to deal with. You know, a couple little surface imperfections, but that's just in the sculpt, nothing major. I love the details. They're soft. They're very feminine. Yep, a little bit of flash here and there. Some mold lines. Yeah, you know, you got some sanding to do. Not a big deal. Got to kind of sand that elbow a little bit. No complaints. And I think the price is really good for what you get. I'm not sure if I'll be able to... Again, it's not going to fit all the way because there's no cleanup. This is just right out of the box, but I can try to get a measurement at least. I'm not sure if her hair's going to stay on. So what's interesting is the way they have... Oh, it will stay. Oh, I have a little bag of other parts. There's a little bag right here with some little pieces of hair that come off. I'm not going to take them off because I don't want to lose them. But they plug in there. And so she is at... Let's see how tall she is. Last one was 17 inches tall. Yeah. Right at the same height. Right about 17 inches. So these are perfectly scaled to each other. And the paint-ups he had on this table were really, really nice. I'm not sure who did them. I think probably Gordon, because he's a very talented builder painter. So I love how her, just a simple fact with how her foot is not flat. It kind of kicks out a little bit. And she's got her hips kicked to her right, so you know all her weight's on her right foot, and she's got a nice little sassy pose to her. I really like that. And I like that Tony's name is sculpted into the base. I don't like it when artists don't sign their work. Give yourself credit, guys. Sign your sculpts. Really beautiful piece. Another great Vamperilla Kit put out by Gordon. So super excited to paint these up eventually. I love them. And I've never done a figure like this. I was never interested in the classic horror, but I had to get these. Just really nicely done. So yeah, again, I'll put Gordon's information down below if you want to grab one. Send him a note. As always, thanks for watching. It's Matt Mrozek. Stay tuned for the next one.